Alright guys, so from the title you can probably tell this is a different kind of video. And well, it's that way for a reason. I didn't fully clickbait the title, but it's a half-truth saying that I don't have friends at all. But realistically, I don't. And this is why this video is captioned, I'm 21 and I have no friends. So I guess to start off with, I technically have friends online, but that isn't really considered to be real friends. And that might actually change if I'm able to save up some money and actually meet them IRL and possibly move near where they're living at. So that's always great. But what I mean I have no friends is I have tried going to specific events. Like I tried to go to like some sort of like local vocal league concert, try to make some friends that way. And I don't think I really jived with anyone. I was brutally honest with immediately telling people that I'm on the spectrum, which could be just an ultimate no. Like I guess some people can just tell and not care, but I mostly let people know I'm on the spectrum just to establish specific kinds of boundaries. And that's it. To really just let people know that I get exhausted by socially masking and trying to act a specific kind of way. So I kind of have my own energy that doesn't really change that much. I mean, I still have a hard time approaching people and trying to like add them to my quote unquote network. I think the idea of networking is parasocial just because you literally just try to add people like in your contacts just so that you can talk to them about business and use them later. I think a lot of business exchanges aren't really equal. And even if it is at that point, you just add them as if they're like a robot. You don't really add them as if they're a person. The other thing is that I just suck at like maintaining friendships IRL. This especially hit home for me like at around high school and like right after high school is there were some people that genuinely wanted to spend time with me, and there were points where I was an asshole. There was one of these friends that I've had since like the third grade, and I literally told him to have some online friends when he made a post about feeling lonely. And I think that's just such a shitty thing for me to do and for me to say. But I just said it because that's just how I felt at the time. For background, though, is useful to let y'all know that my parents weren't exactly helicopter parents, but I feel like I had to basically give them a job application for like every friend that I try to hang out with. Um, it really did go out of hand, not really out of hand, but it prevented me from pushing myself to actually make friends and hang out with them outside of school because I felt like it was hopeless anyways. I didn't have my own form of transportation. I didn't have my license. I still don't have my license. I'm 21. And it just causes a lot of mental problems and a lot of hurdles. Because then there's another thing that I overthink when it comes to interactions is, okay, become friends with this person. Cool. They have access to a car. They have access to transportation. Am I using them for that? Because a lot of times people feel that way. So I hate how whenever I'm cool with someone in conversation, either one of the two things happens most of the time. It's either I talk to them one time after that, hang out with them, it's all cool, and then nothing happens, or nothing happens like for like a week or two, and then it's just as if you're not friends with them in the first place. Ugh. I live independently for the most part. I mean, I split around with my brother, but there's none of that conflict because it's very easy to not get along with someone when you live with them. I just dislike how I personally did some really, really garbage things to people that I've known in the past that I was cool with. And then when I try to move past them and start friendships and relationships and stuff like that with people that I haven't really met that well, that I don't really know that well, it just doesn't feel as successful. The other thing I feel like happens is maybe I'm cool to them, but maybe they're closer with other people. And this was always a thing that I felt in school as well with you know, the kinds of people that were friends since like kindergarten. You're in the same class as them, and you're always like the second or the third person picked. So you're always technically the third or the fourth person on the team when it comes to any sort of science class activity. That really hit home to me. And I think a lot of teachers prevent people from choosing lab partners to prevent people from being hurt mentally. But I think, I don't really think it hurt too much. I think it just sucked. But that's just always what's going to happen. People are always going to be closer to one person than another. And I kind of struggle with the idea of that. And the last factor, and probably the most lethal factor as to why specifically young people in the United States can't make friends and socialize, is because working. It drains a lot out of me, especially like even if I just work a 40-hour shift, or not shift, 40-hour work week, you know, even that makes it to where I mostly sleep when I'm not at work. I promise you, I have less than 3 hours, you know, every day in between shifts that I'd be awake. Less than 2 hours most of the time. And most of that is just showering and meal prepping, or showering and eating before work. It's just a big mess. And I hate how even now, put in my notice for the job that I had, you know, I mean, I got fired from it anyway, screw it. But I felt full of myself. I felt like I can get a job in cybersecurity or some sort of, you know, basic help desk job, but the workforce doesn't work that way anymore. Like, it does not matter what credentials you have. I understand I don't have CompTIA A+ yet, and I've been preparing for that test for months, and I know I can do good on it if I take it. But the problem is that costs $500, and a lot of entry-level help desks still doesn't pay a whole lot. I've seen a position posted for $12 an hour, which to me is crazy. But a lot of times they are at like $17 an hour, which is pretty incredible. But even then, for me trying to get those certifications and trying to get into that industry, I just feel like I can't. I feel like every day I wake up to work towards something and to be able to do something, but to just be denied by companies whenever I try to apply. I got an email just today when I signed up for a basic medical receptionist job. And guess what? They say, unfortunately, we can't move on with your application. We are seeking people who have experience in the industry. And I think, go fuck yourselves. And I hope that listing lasts for months. I hope they don't find someone for a long period of time. Because I feel like I feel so fucking violated by the fact that I was just told no. Zero conversation has started. And this is why 60% of people lie on LinkedIn. I really don't want to fucking lie. But I might even have to do that to get better jobs. But even then, that's one thing in itself. But the other thing is, even with those jobs, I'd still be working a lot. I still get exhausted. It does not matter what I do. I think a lot of times I do get exhausted a lot, like just by being in public. And the fact is that I don't ever feel like I have time for myself. A lot of jobs, a lot of the standard work schedule is 5 8-hour shifts. Why the fuck would I want to be there 5 days of my week? It's too much. And this all of these factors combine to make me like to build up my idea as to why I don't have like in-person friends. I still like Still, I'm able to play video games with people like online and still have those sorts of friends, but I know that a lot of people say they're not fulfilling. And I'm not even sure about that because I haven't had any of that stuff going on with me in person for a long period of time. I felt something similar, when I was volunteering locally. But then that was on one of my off days when I was working, one of my 2 off days. I don't go there for a week. I feel bad about it. Feel anxious about the fact that I haven't gone there for 2 weeks. Anxious about the fact that I haven't gone there for 3 weeks. Snowball effect ensues. And now I just have not gone there in a long time. A lot of it is self-caused. A lot of these problems are things that I do to myself, but also a lot of these problems are also caused by these soulless companies that are stealing everything from us. RealPage, that whole lawsuit, to me, that's crazy that they got away with that stuff. That it's not illegal, because companies that buy that service are using that service to set the prices of their apartments, and it pulls from the results of other users, other landlords. So rent is at an all-time high. Work is difficult. It's not difficult for me to get a job at fucking Panda Express. I was asked where I want to be in 5 years for an entry-level job that hires high schoolers. How are you going to ask your future wage slave what they're going to do in 5 years? Everything seems hopeless and dire. Seems like there's going to be some sort of recession coming. And if there isn't, economic inequality is that big of a problem where people feel like it is. I'm just so angry at everything right now because of those factors. I hope to be able to still save up money and work multiple jobs and do what I have to do to possibly make friends at local anime conventions and maybe think some more to that. But I just never feel like I can. I never feel like I can afford anything. So we'll see how that goes. Anyways, I hope y'all actually don't not have friends, but judging by the fact that you got this long in the video, you probably don't. But anyways, yeah, shameless plug, subscribe. I ain't got no friends right now, IRL, so why the fuck would I care about my ego anymore? But yeah, I'll see y'all later.